Hello everyone. Today it's about 3 tips to enjoy the holiday meals without offending friends and family or standing out because of your dietary choices. And tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I thought that would be a really appropriate subject. If we're just meeting, hello, my name is Laure. I am a diet and lifestyle Ayurvedic consultant, an holistic health counselor, and a yoga teacher. And for the last 10 years, I've been helping women have a healthier relationship with foods and with their bodies, and lose weight holistically by shifting from a diet approach to a health and balance approach. Tip number 1. You probably heard that before. Bring something, bring a meal, a dish that you enjoy and that you know you'll eat, and hopefully everybody else also will enjoy. Tip number 2. Compliment your host or hostess for the work they put into preparing the meals that they're sharing with you, whether you're going to eat them or not. And if you can sincerely say to them, wow, it smells so good, or it looks amazing, then go ahead and do so. It will put people at ease. Tip number 3. As humans, we all have a need to belong, to fit in, right? And so it makes us feel safe. It makes us feel validated and accepted and appreciated. So when one of the group stands out or does something differently, intentionally or unintentionally, we might feel not offended, but attacked by that. We might feel uncomfortable by it. So we want to recognize that our choices sometimes will make other people feel uncomfortable. And so tip number 3 is not to react to that, not to get defensive, because people, when they're uncomfortable, they have a tendency to get defensive with you. Let me share a little story. So for those of you who know me, I've been a vegetarian for about 30 years, right? And at the very beginning, I was very argumentative. I was on a mission. I wanted everyone to become a vegetarian like me. So 3 years into it, I moved back to Paris, and friends of my parents invited me for Christmas because they knew I was going to be spending Christmas alone. And they had some children of the same age. So I was in my early 20s. And then, of course, even though I had shared before that I was a vegetarian, there were no vegetarian meals at the dinner. And so here I am trying to find the vegetable I could eat amongst the meals that they made. And the subject of my being vegetarian came up. And somebody made a comment about, well, we humans are omnivores, so you being vegetarian makes no sense at all. Again, I was in my early 20s, and at that time I wasn't really diplomatic. So I felt like a reaction coming on to me, but I kept silent. And later on during the meal, one of the daughters, who was the same age than I was, started talking about how she loved dolphins. And of course, I noticed that she talked about loving dolphins while eating her tuna salad. So I said loud enough so that everyone could hear, well, I don't quite understand how you can say you love dolphins so much when you're eating tuna, and everybody knows that dolphins get caught in the tuna fish nets and they get killed. And of course, silence. I didn't get invited quite soon after that to anything that they were doing, and they reported to my parents how an uncomfortable person I was to be with. Well, today I would probably have done things very differently. Today I would have handled things in a way. So for example, when people come up with the argument of human beings being omnivores, one of the things that I probably say today is that yes, indeed, we can eat anything, but it doesn't mean that we cannot choose what we're gonna eat. Right? Just like we can do anything. I could go out and love to dance naked in the rain, right? That doesn't mean that I would necessarily go out when it rains and dance naked. So it's a matter that even though we can do many things, we still have a choice, and hopefully an educated choice of whether we are going to do this thing or not. So today, when people ask me why am I a vegetarian, this is what I said. I said that about 30 years ago, it dawned on me that I no longer felt comfortable nourishing myself from the dead flesh of animals that had the same emotional capacity than I do. And I have found that by just saying this without getting defensive, it makes people think. And because I say I and I don't put it on them, they don't feel threatened by it either. Another thing that my clients found out, of course, they are my clients because they want to lose weight, but most of all, they are concerned about their health, right? And so amongst friends and families on the dinner table, then they would just mention their health, their health concerns, and that their food choices are based on their health concerns. So that would be two answers that you could give back. But first of all, and mostly third tip is don't get offended. Don't get upset. Don't get reactive. Really, it's natural for human beings to feel attacked or threatened when someone does something different than they do, right? In all levels. And here's my fourth tip. Be more compassionate to yourself and with others. Because after all, why do we gather around meals? For human connection, right? And so we want to remember that when we meet our friends and families over meals during those holidays, while having our own specific dietary choices or food choices, that we're with them to enjoy them. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching. And I will see you next time. Same place.